Howdy, this is Sailor the Piper Man, Piper the Sailor Man, from the island of Puerto Rico. You have tropical showers just north of us, skimming about a mile out, and heading north is Hurricane Earl, I believe. We're catching the tail end. Wind, slight wind, plenty of rain, and it's good because we need the rain. We need to fill our reservoirs, and so that's good. I hope you guys are having a good day. Have had an opportunity to smoke your pipes, and I'm about to tell a story. But to tell this story, I brought out my Tom Sawyer corn cob. It's a story of a gentleman named Jim. So his real name was not Jim, but I'm gonna use Jim. His descendants are religious. They're called Mennonites from Germany. And many Mennonites all over the world. They take it to heart to separate themselves from the world. But not Jim. Jim, when he came to Germany, his folks decided to head out to Pennsylvania. They landed on the ship, on the docks in Battery Park, Old New York, Dutch New York. Before the birth of this great nation. They got here, Jim, his family, and that Mennonite community he was part of at one time came before it was still part. There's 13 colonies. King George was still king and sovereign over the 13 colonies, paying heavy taxes. The Mennonites decided, they looked at New York, how terrible it was, all different, just like that picture, gangs of New York. Different groups vying for position, territory. The Mennonite will have none of it. So they headed out to Pennsylvania and even west. Jim decided he didn't want to do that. Two reasons. He found a job with Indian Joe. Indian Joe was what you consider half-breed. Half Indian, Iroquois, and French. But he made his way among the colonials, was very respected, fought, I believe, in the French-Indian War, helped many people in the backwoods, many of Irish, Scottish descent, and once in a while, he will hire himself out as a scout. The one thing that Indian Joe had was he grew tobacco. The Iroquois Indians knew how to grow tobacco, and he learned that from his mother's side. And so he opened up a small business in what is now called the lower West side, a lot people used to come and get the clay pipes, come into his store. Indian Joe was something else. Indian Joe was 6'2" Indian, slim, wiry built, long hair, had a ponytail, and a ring, reminiscent of pirates of his day. It was said that Indian Joe was a privateer, letting himself out a couple of times, went out into the Caribbean as a pirate, as a swashbuckling pirate. And you know, when you travel, you gain experience, you gain knowledge, you gain know-how, you get rough, tough, you know your way around people. So Indian Joe opened up a small shop, sold tobacco. Had a gentleman that made the clay pipes. Well, Jim, I'm just gonna keep using his last name was Offerman. Let me use that. Offerman was young, 17 years old. He didn't want to be a Mennonite no more. He decided he saw New York, he was stimulated, saw nice looking colonial women. He didn't want to be Mennonite. And his family was saddened by it. They told him they were heading out west. He stayed in New York, and he learned from Indian Joe about tobacco, but most importantly, he knew how to make clay pipes. He learned how to make clay pipes, how to use an oven, how to make an oven. He learned all about the temperature, cooling them down. Now his pipes were a little different. Indian Joe told him, why don't you make them like peace pipes instead of the colonial pipes? He said, why? Why? He said, you could sell them among the Indians. He did that. None of the colonials would buy his pipes. So he would make clay pipes to the colonials. So from time to time he made peace pipe out of clay pipe. He was storing them up, stocking them up, didn't know what to do with them, but he kept them anyway. And he just got better and better at it. He was working for him for like 2.5 years, saving his money. When outside of one of the bars or taverns, there was a sign that said, young man, go west. There was a wagon train that would leave from time to time from New York. People that want to settle the land, that heard about land in Louisiana, heard about Missouri, they heard about Tennessee, they heard about Oklahoma. There was plenty of land for the taking. So they would hire scouts, Indian fighters. He met a young lady. He fell in love with her in New York. He would go see her. Her name was Susanna. And she wanted to go to Virginia, West Virginia. Her family was well-to-do, respected lawyer in the colonies, and they didn't like them sex. Her family, Susanna, didn't like the sex Mennonite. They didn't like the groups that were coming from Europe, the Hatterites and other groups like that were settling the land. They didn't want their child being brought up, even though they were Presbyterian. They didn't want their daughter getting in law with him. He had no roots. His family were Mennonites. He was there, but she took a like. Susanna took a like to Offerman. Offerman was getting really good. He was making good money. So he goes knocking on the building, the door, and the maid opened up. They had a maid. Susanna's family had a maid. And she said, maid happened to be a black woman. He said, where's Susanna at? With Betsy. Oh, Susanna done gone. Offerman, what do you mean she done gone? She knew I was coming over Friday. She done gone. The family done gone. What do you mean they gone? They moved to West Virginia. They bought land in West Virginia. They grabbed their stuff. Everything else here is gonna go later on. When their father comes back. So he was saddened. He decided he going after Susanna. Offerman, I'm going after Susanna. He told his Indian friend, the owner, I'm going after her. I really like it. Indian Joe said, they don't gonna want you. Nobody wants Mennonites around here. The way you dress, you need to change your ways. You're American now. You're in America. You're part of the colonies now. You gotta change your accent. You gotta change everything about you. And he was stubborn. I was supposed to know, I'm who I am. She likes me the way I am. Why should I change? Because you think I need to change. So he was making some pipes. Offerman was making some pipes. Put them in the oven. And the other co-worker was watching him. The co-worker was 70, was already sickly, and had some money stashed away. He comes out one day while Offerman was making clay pipes and says, here, this is you. I can't take your money. I can't take your money. He says, take my money. Go get that girl. Go get Susanna. I've been watching y'all. I've been watching y'all, Susanna. You make a nice couple. Go grab that girl. And go get that land out there, this place called Alabama. Alabama, where some Indians. They say a lot of people going out there. Beautiful. Alabama. Forget about West Virginia. Take that girl and go to that place, Alabama. He's Tyrone. He knows Alabama. He's from there. He's a bartender. He's going back. He's going back there. But I'm going to West Virginia. Well, he'll show you the road to Alabama. You go get Susanna. So he went, got himself a cart, got himself a mule. He traveled with all from New York. But went to DC, went to Maryland until he finally get to Delaware, until he finally got to West Virginia. He got to West Virginia. Couldn't find her. Couldn't find her Susanna. Anyway, he stayed for 6 months. When finally he found the family. And the family He went up to the door, knocked on the door. He stood there. He go, "It's you. What are you doing here?" His dad, her dad, his dad. "What are you doing, Offerman? You coming all the way from New York here?" "Yes, sir. I don't realize I love Susanna. I want to ask you your hands in marriage." He said, "You're too late, son." "What do you mean I'm too late?" "Well, I married my daughter Susanna off to a gentleman. He's an earl in England. So she went back to England, son." Offerman was heartbroken. Turned around, walked away. He said, "Go find yourself a girl from here. Be happy. Leave Susanna alone." He went away and realized there's no way he's going to compete with that Earl from England, the rich family. So he met Tyrone, who had made that stop off in West Virginia, and he said to Offerman, "You best be coming. If you don't come, I'm leaving now." And he said, "Well, interesting, on the way to West Virginia, he had been selling the Indian pipe that he made, and people loved him. He was saying, yeah, the gentleman driving through, going to Alabama, his name is Offerman. He's going to pick up this girl named Susanna, from what he said, and he's going to make his way to a big city in Alabama and open up a business." Really? So, some general from one of the army, it wasn't the Continental Army, but soldiers that were in the French and Indian War, veterans, took a liking to that pipe. They smoked it in the bars, and they gave his clay pipe the name Offerman. "Where you get that pipe? Who made that pipe?" "Well, this gentleman named Offerman. He all down there in Alabama." "Yeah, they say he used to be a Mennonite. He ain't no Mennonite no more. He got his heart broken from a girl named Susanna." Really? So, as the pipe smokers, the clay smokers were telling the story got more embellished. He was heartbroken. She left him for another man. He was destituted. Susanna was so beautiful. Susanna couldn't want him no more. It got embellished. As 2 or 3 years went by, Offerman had a little shop in Alabama. One day he decides to close his shop early. And there's a bar where they throw theaters, shows, and everybody, Western cowboys. I'm not sure they were cowboys, but country folks were all going to see the show inside the saloon. It was like a theater, stage, and he's sitting there. This gentleman comes out with a banjo. There are 3 people singing. And they start singing, "Oh, Susanna, oh, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. You come from Alabama with the banjo on my knee." And they were singing other songs like, "Old Dan Tucker was a fine old man. He washed his face in the frying pan. He combed his hair in the wagon wheel. He had a toothpaste in his ear. Get out the way, old Dan Tucker. Too late to get your supper. Supper's always cooking. Looking, old Dan Tucker was standing looking. I'm going to Tucker. That's my friend, Susanna. So he met the musicians afterward, offered him a drink. He says, he made that song, Susanna. What gave you the inspiration for that? They smoked the pipe. Well, this is young man. Story I got. This man named Offerman who made the Offerman pipe. And he looks, you got one of his pipes. So I got that Offerman pipe too. He goes, Offerman? Offerman says, Offerman? It's not Offerman pipe. Those pipes I made. And who are you? He says, my name is Offerman. Well, damn, they call it the Offerman pipe. All the way from New York to Alabama. Your name is called the Offerman pipe. And the song I said, Oh Susanna, was based on the fact that Suzanne done Offerman wrong. Offerman lost his sweetheart. He goes, well, part of that is true. Well, everybody's true. But I met a beautiful girl here. He says, yeah. You know who told me? Who? John Henry. John Henry, big black Negro that works on the railroad tracks. Tall, 7 foot, weighs about 300 stones. John Henry said it. Had one of your pipes too. I never met no John Henry Offerman said. Yeah. But done, you got famous. I got a store in Alabama. We coming. We're gonna get that Offerman clay pipe that look like the Indian pipe. And we gonna keep going west. We're taking the Oregon Trail out to Oregon. Really? So Offerman stayed behind, married, had 10 kids, and his Offerman pipe, clay pipe, became famous because he looked Indian. Recently, archaeologists were digging in Alabama, and they found some strange looking Indian, they say Indian peace pipes, but on it was etched the word Offerman. Offerman's family still living. And I ran, his great-grandson became a businessman. And I met that young man in California. It's interesting that the Offermans, his descendants, in 1849, during the 49 gold rush, headed out west, brought the pipe. From that pipe, they brought meerschaum pipes. Made meerschaum pipes. The Offerman family were the first ones to introduce the meerschaum pipe out west. And his descendants have fond memories of a young man who made his own way in America. Though heartbroken, he never quit, took what he learned, built on it, and built a legacy that helped his family. And he forged and were pioneers, not only the pipe, but breaking tobacco out west. That's the story of Offerman, the Mennonite, and Offerman, the clay pipe. That's my story. Well, this is Sailor Piper and Piper the Sailor Man. There are so many different Offermans in the world that help in forging tobacco and making it an American institution from east to west. Just like the pioneers traveled, so did our pipes and tobacco travel too. So that's it, gentlemen. We have a legacy. We got pipe, we got tobacco. We should always remember we stand on their shoulders. God bless.